One, two, three, four.
I don't really remember the first year we did the Biggie tribute. I feel it was 2015, give or take. But it's been an event we used to do regularly every year until COVID slowed things down, of course. Part of why the Biggie tribute is important to me, two main reasons, but there's also other kind of smaller reasons. First and foremost, Biggie is one of my favorite artists, so to be able to do an annual tribute to his music, and to a lesser extent, but still an extent nonetheless, his influence on hip hop music, I think is still very relevant and still very present. And then also, his passing in 1997 kind of aligns, with 1997 being the year that I started DJing. So Biggie passed in March 97. I started DJing in September of 97. So kind of like that 1997 timestamp has a very significant meaning in my life as well. When I hit up Bobby about potentially bringing the tribute back, I thought it was important in part because the tribute was something that was so well received every year. And then to another extent that I can't speak too much on because I wasn't part of the conversation, but I know that Bobby and DJ Clark Kent had conversations about it and how the very first or maybe second year we did it, how the capacity or the possibilities of what that show could turn into, Clark could see it. So when I came to Bobby with the idea of bringing it back, he was absolutely supportive. And of course, we couldn't have done this without his help and his support. So there's never enough thank yous I can give to Bobby on helping make this year's tribute a success. And I'm gonna talk about the musicians as well. We're not just kind of just playing Biggie songs. Some of these things have rearrangements and changes, almost like a live mixtape. So like the artists still got to learn the Biggie songs, but they got to also learn some of the changes and the transitions that I built into it. So once again, I can't say thank you enough to them either. Greg Owens on drums, Davey Torero on bass, Jermaine Smith on keys, Jesse Napolitan on vocals, and Joseph Moore on vocals as well. Like those five folks, I say thank you to them because without them, of course, this show couldn't have been what it was either.
What's this video?
Paging me at 5:46 in the morning, crack of dawn, and now I'm yawning. Wipe the cold out my eye. See who's this paging me?
So when I first hit up Bobby and told him some of my ideas and concepts around and my vision around what the tribute would look like in this new, I don't want to call it new phase per se, but what I envisioned the revamp of it would look like. One of those ideas, initial ideas, was to make it more like a dinner theater type of show where people would come in, sit down at tables, we order drinks and kind of just sit and engage it like a dinner theater presentation or performance, almost like at a jazz club. And I had a couple of conversations. One conversation I had was specifically with Joseph. I was like, yo, it would really be dope to almost build this almost like Hamilton in having a storyline, and having Biggie's music kind of be like the score to this alternate story that we're telling. And to that point, that's what led to me doing the Concerto Thugs remix, the Notorious Thugs remix over a concerto. It's like my initial idea was really about taking Biggie's music and breaking some of it down and re-presenting it in a totally different style. Like it was a 5-act storyline that was fully developed, and I started working on some visualizations of that and some other things that were developed that we ended up getting away from that we may get back to in the future. So, maybe I'm telling y'all a bit more than I should be telling y'all now. I had to sit down, and I can't speak to how long it took. It didn't really take long, but I didn't want to lose time on it. But I had to sit down and really be intentional on working out that balance between those classic hits and those commercial hits, as I mentioned, those B-sides and deep cuts, and then working out collaboration. I think people sometimes forget, like Biggie has songs and collaborations with a lot of different artists. Everybody from Jay-Z, Too Short, Carl Thomas, Shaq. Remember, some folks may remember he had a verse on Shaq's album, and then he's got a song with Michael Jackson as well. So like there's a whole lot of material that Biggie put out. So like going through and picking out what really helped move the night along, and other joints that are still dope joints, but they just don't move the story and or the vibe forward. Like that wasn't difficult, but it wasn't easy. I built it like a combination of a mixtape, a score, and a performance. So I had to start the show, and build that kind of story arc, and that climax and denouement of the first set, and getting those B-sides in and those different things, and still keeping people engaged with the hits and the joints that they know, whether they be passive Biggie fans or hardcore Biggie fans. I couldn't save all the hits for the second set, but you still have to have, once again, an ebb and flow. You can't go, balls to the wall the full second set. However, that second set does have a pacing that's much more intentional and deliberate and quick. So all of those things played a part in how the storytelling and the sound and the balance and the arrangement of the overall project came to play. One thing that was more of a factor was Biggie's evolution as an artist, from his early work in first album to the second album, which was a double album. Some of the ways he flipped styles, for example, specifically like taking on that Bone Thugs and Harmony kind of delivery on Notorious Thugs, kind of having that Midwest bounce, and the tongue. He didn't do all of it, but some of that tongue twisting that Bone Thugs Harmony did and Twista did on Spit Your Game, and how Biggie kind of took to that style but still kept it in the style of himself.
And heated especially for your team in the 45 and D will be between the scenes, destroy your dreams, you willing to die, we'll see. How many feast when it goes to see we mean mug, mode, dog, trying to be perfect. Disciples with it, survival, tongue of a double-edged sword, triple, 6 rivals spitting fire.
From a technical aspect, one of the things that was very,
1, 2.
I don't want to say very different, but it was different. So let's take a half step back. As a DJ, anytime that I can, I incorporate visuals with my DJ sets. With that being said, incorporating a visual element to this set, along with incorporating aspects that the audience did not hear or see, but were for the musicians only. So like I built out, we had backing tracks, click tracks, reference tracks, different things that only we were hearing in our ears to help us guide the performance along. And then the audience would hear certain segments, a whole different audio feed would go to the audience for them to hear certain sections of the actual production along with the band production. Sometimes you're hearing Biggie or another artist's vocals, you're hearing the live vocals, sometimes you're hearing them together. And we didn't have a tech team for that. We didn't have, I couldn't call in, a video editing group or like all of that was something that I had to figure out, I had to build. And some of it was a absolute pain in the ass. And some of it, I didn't know if it was going to work until the night before when we did our tech run. That kind of excites me and pushes me to say, oh, if we can do that on the figuring it out last minute with a lot more intention and forethought, we can really do something moving forward. So all of those things are kind of takeaways that I have from the development of the show itself. One thing that I never take for granted is when people come up to me and say, yo, that was really dope, I enjoyed it. I do want to say thank you to any and everyone who came out to the show. I encourage and invite a lot of my creative friends to check out the work that I'm doing because I want their critique, their evaluation. I want them as creatives to analyze what I'm presenting because they can give me feedback that, generally speaking, like your everyday person won't give me. So when they come up to me and give me certain levels of praise and appreciation, I appreciate all praise and all appreciation from everybody who comes out to a show. And if you appreciate it, that means something to me. I don't minimize or kind of second tier that at all. But when I have, some of my creative friends come in and say, yo, I thought it was just going to be A, B, and C. And we walked in, we saw the setup, and we knew it was going to be something different. We didn't know what to expect, but you didn't let us down. Or I thought it was going to be this, and it wasn't. It was so much more. Almost all of it was intentional. From we didn't have costumes or but I said, yo, the dress code is all black. And then from there, if you got Biggie related pieces, plug those in. So Jermaine wore all black. I think Davey wore all black with a Biggie t-shirt. Greg had all black and he had a Versace style shirt. I had on all black, and then the first set I had my Biggie t-shirt and my Rated Black flannel hat. And then the second set I had a t-shirt that said T-bone steak, cheese, eggs, and lunch is great. But even that level of intentionality in what we present was not accidental. And I think it matters, even if people don't fully recognize it. I think it matters because it helps the artists and the musicians and everybody behind or on this side of the stage go into the performance and the production with the level of intentionality that, for whatever reason, I think wasn't always present in some of the other shows that we did. And that was one of the things I talked to Bobby about, is I really want this to not feel like a gig, and I want it to feel like a production or a presentation or something that was bigger than just a night at the club.
Oh, Callie?
I'm sure there's more I could say, but I'm not sure that I will. I just want to say, I want to say thank you to Bobby, everybody at the forum. I want to say thank you to all of the musicians and vocalists who helped make the 2025 edition of the Biggie tribute possible. I want to say rest in peace to Christopher Wallace, aka the Notorious B.I.G. I want to say rest in peace to his mother, who recently passed, Coletta Wallace. And of course, I want to say rest in peace to the one and only DJ Clark Kent, who also recently passed because of his vision of what our show could be, and his conversations and kind of encouragement that he gave to Bobby, like that trickled down, and that's something that, even though he's physically gone, I think will always stay with Bobby and always stay with me in terms of what we push. So with that being said, man, I'm the Crate Digger. You can catch me 24/7, 365 on cratedigger.com. If you're checking this out on YouTube, feel free to hit that subscribe button. Please like, please share, please comment. Keep your eyes and ears open, because there's already conversation about us doing another tribute to another hip-hop artist. I'm not going to say who, when, or where, but I guarantee you don't want to miss it. So with that being said, take care of yourself and the ones you love. Peace and love.
If I gotta choose the coast, I got to choose the east. I live out there, so don't go there. Just don't go around there. Can't rest in the west, season nice, rest in the west. Smoke some nice checks in the west. I'm thinking to the